Hello everyone, Palador here playing some more Overwatch. This is a pre-recorded game that I'm commentating over. We are on Temple of Anubis on defense. I'll be playing as Mercy. She is the quintessential support healer of Overwatch. Her left click ability focuses a healing beam that heals friendly targets over time, while her right click ability is actually a 50% damage boost to said target. So it's actually pretty substantial. Now her shift ability, her left shift ability, is called Guardian Angel, which allows you to target a teammate and fly towards them. If you hold down the space bar while you're in midair, you actually hover as well. So, as Mercy, what I generally want to be doing is just keeping my teammates alive while keeping myself alive as well. Meaning I'm trying to keep everyone topped off but not put myself at tremendous risk, because if they lose me, that's a big chunk of their team gone. So I'll be keeping everyone topped off as much as possible, this Pharah and Soldier, and when everyone is topped off and generally healthy, as we see that Bastion die, that's when I'll use my damage boost on anyone I could find, any offensive character I could find. That extra 50% definitely helps a ton with DPS, so it's a good thing to use when you're not focused on healing your friendlies. So as you can see, just right there I got my ult up. Mercy's ult is a resurrect. It will bring back your teammates from the dead into life once again. And I actually used it right here on my soldier. So as you might have noticed, Mercy's ult actually does charge tremendously fast. It's one of the fastest charging ults in the game if you do a good job of just focusing your healing beam and damage boost on your teammates. If you do that, it'll charge ridiculously fast, and you can keep your teammates constantly alive and free from having to walk all the way back from the spawn, which on this map is a sizable difference, so you really don't want that when you can help it. So because of how fast that the resurrect does charge, it's generally my philosophy to use it whenever I can. If it's just one person who died and everything's looking clear, then I will use it on them more often than not. The only exception is if you anticipate a big push incoming or a huge ult that's about to come out, then you can kind of save it and use it for the giant res at once. But if it's just kind of casual skirmishes going on, then I'll just use it on one or two people like I do right here. Make sure to fly into position so I'm close enough to res both of them, as the resurrect is in fact limited in range. So I make sure I was in range to res two of them instead of just the one. As we see a Reinhardt charge here, I'll damage boost Pharah, hoping she takes him out. She doesn't, so I fly over to the Soldier, dodging the Reinhardt in the process, who is able to kill him with the help of some extra damage. And we still got another enemy Pharah up top. She's harassing us. Doesn't seem like my team notices it too much. So you can see here our Soldier died, but I'm going to hold on to my res for just a second, because I saw my Bastion on the point was actually low on health as well. So in that case, since I anticipated the Bastion also dying, it was a good idea to save the res just for a few extra seconds. That way we can get two teammates back to full health instead of just the one. And resing that Bastion turned out to be a good idea. He was able to wipe the point clean, and we're back on defense now. And looking good. Now, Bastion makes a pretty good Mercy partner as long as he's protected relatively well and has good positioning, because on his own Bastion's a tremendous damage dealer, but with a Mercy healing him, he can do just ludicrous amounts of damage and melt through enemies like butter. So here I'm trying to heal the Reaper back up to full health. Now there I actually made a mistake, as you saw. I did not follow my smarts of waiting an extra few seconds to analyze the situation, and our Bastion died right as I used the res. So unfortunately he did not gain the benefits from that, meaning he had to come all the way back from spawn, which definitely hurts our defensive pressure. So coming in here just to heal the Soldier, make sure he's topped off and doesn't fall to that Mei. We see our Soldier off screen get charged by a Reinhardt and die, it looks like. See a Genji here. I try waving at him, but he peaced out just before I could. But nonetheless, our Bastion is back now, and the enemy Reinhardt comes down out of nowhere seemingly, charges the Bastion while ulting both of us and killing me. So the only one left at the point now is our Pharah, and she's at half health, so that push, that mini push, effectively gave them the point, I think. With only About half a minute to go, so that's a little unfortunate, but hey. On Temple of Anubis, the first point definitely is, at least in my opinion, the hardest to defend, just because it is extremely linear and choke heavy, compared to at least this side of the map where you have a few different ways of engaging, a few different sides of engaging, as well as multiple heights to engage from. Only thing I don't like right now with our team, as you can see right here, is that we are very spread out, and while that does make us less susceptible to being devastated by a single ult, it also makes it a lot easier for us to get picked off one by one, which in turn will make the enemies push a lot easier on them, so something to be aware of. In the meantime, I'm just trying to stick to whoever I can, top people off, healing that Pharah and damage boosting her, hoping that one of her rockets can squeeze out a little extra damage. The enemy Pharah ults here, so I'm just getting out of the way of that, keeping everyone healed as I can. That Reaper is getting frozen by Mei, but I managed to heal him off, and same with our Junkrat, he's falling, so lots of casualties going on at the minute. I'm just trying to keep myself alive while keeping everyone else alive. However, I just get picked off by the enemy Widowmaker there, and it's not looking good for our team, unfortunately. Nonetheless, you can see with Mercy how dependent she is on her positioning and knowing when to fly in somewhere and when to hold back. In that case, I got hit by Reinhardt's ultimate, but luckily he got defeated before he did any damage to me. So I'm going to follow my Pharah up here, heal everyone up, and prepare for the next wave of attacks. I'm just trying to kind of fly in and out between all these people and keep everyone topped off as much as I can, keep myself alive. I see my Bastion's low, so I fly over to him right here, and as luck would turn out, I get wrecked by a random Pharah rocket that was not intended for me. Couldn't do much to prevent or anticipate that really, but there you go. That's okay. Pretty much everyone's still alive. They haven't made a huge push yet. This Pharah, however, came in here and did work on our Bastion. Junkrat managed to survive though. And seeing as there wasn't too much going on, I was willing to use my ult there to revive our Bastion. Meanwhile, heading over to this Pharah and damage boosting her for a little bit anyways. I don't want to stay in this position too long just because it's a bit vulnerable. Especially because they have a enemy Reaper, or Genji and a Pharah roaming around, as we just saw there. So I don't want to stay in one place too long. So at this point, I'm trying to just avoid our Pharah there. Bastion wasn't able to take care of her in time. She was behind the pillar. So I was trying to play hide and seek with her, but she found me, and she got me. But that's okay. So, see our friendly Junkrat. He's letting loose his ult. Riptire. Once again, get everyone topped off, make sure they're in good health. Meanwhile, the enemy Mercy actually just res one or two people, and I just tried flying out of there, trying to fly out of there, get away from the Genji and his ult, but I could not. At least our Bastion took care of him, so that's something. We see our team skirmishing there under the bridge. Little bit of a precarious position if anyone wanted to ult, but luckily they got out of there just fine. So heading back to the Pharah now, healing her up, damage boosting her a little bit, just helping in any way I can, making sure to constantly look left and right if you notice, and just not only scanning for allies in need, but also scanning for any kind of enemies. That's what you always want to do, is have your head on a swivel as Mercy. Of course, as I say that, I get picked off by the enemy Widowmaker. She had her ultimate up, so she was able to see me through the walls and line up the headshot no problem. So with 1.5 minutes left, or a little bit less, I'm anticipating the enemy to make a huge push now, and they do. I'm already at half health, so I'm just trying to stay here in the relative safety of this little alcove. I res 2 of our teammates, hoping that'll be enough to take care of it, and it seems like it is. But then the Mercy comes in and reses a few of them, and it unfortunately spells the end for us, I do think. As you can see, our entire team is dead once again. I do not have a res, and I am only left with myself and my pistol. Can't do much else except charge in hopelessly and acknowledge defeat. So that was the game. It was close, came down to the last minute or so. That Mercy, this play of the game right here, was a great res by the enemy Mercy. She was able to bring 3 of her teammates back to life, and it effectively gave them complete control of the last point and allowed them to capture it and wipe us off the map. So I hope this was an informative video on how to play Mercy. She's a great character, great healer. And yeah, stay tuned for some more. Thanks for watching.